Well, first of all, let me apologize for the typo in our headline there. Tapales, not Taples. Anyway, uh, how you doing, boxing fans around the world? Thank you for joining me once again here on Talking Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. You've probably noticed there's quite a bit to talk about, and it's going to start off with Tyson Fury, who says he's about to get paid an enormous amount of money to fight a heavyweight novice in a 10-round non-title fight. Some reports have suggested Fury's purse for facing former UFC champ Francis Ngannou will exceed $60 million US. Though Ngannou's power poses at least some sort of threat to the unbeaten WBC heavyweight champ, even Fury feels as though this windfall from Saudi Arabian investors is almost too good to be true. Said Fury, I just sometimes look in the mirror and think I'm an absolute genius. And when everyone thought it was all over for the Gypsy King, he comes and totally redeems himself and pulls this out of the hat. And here we are. It's like unbelievable, isn't it? Like just only 6 months ago, I didn't know if I was ever going to box again. And then here we go. Never mind. Just doing a fight with Ngannou. I've got another big fight lined up and so much more to come. So many more big things in the hat. So Houdini. Good for him. Anyway, let's move on to Deontay Wilder, who has a few things to say about Anthony Joshua. Courtesy of our good friends over BoxingNews24.com, written by Alan Fox. Deontay Wilder is keeping the pressure on the reluctant former heavyweight champ, Anthony Joshua, encouraging him to face him and saying it'll be a major disaster if they never fight. Joshua, who's 26-3, and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, don't seem interested right now in making the fight with Wilder because it's believed that they're waiting on the Tyson Fury fight for next year. And as we all know, Tyson Fury is not interested in that fight. They don't want to mess up the big money they'll get from the Saudis for that all-British affair. Hearn has already said that Ajit Kabayal is one of the names they're looking at for Joshua's next fight in December. That's an opponent that the physically and mentally washed up Joshua can still beat at this late stage of his 10-year career. AJ's 4 days in complete darkness retreat thing he did last week was a clear sign of how things are starting to unravel with him inside his head. Obviously, the last thing Joshua needs right now is to step into the ring with the bronze bomber, get put out of his misery, and be sent into retirement, getting knocked out cold. The former WBC heavyweight champ Wilder, 43-1, by the way, needs to put Joshua out of his mind entirely and get back in the ring against Andy Ruiz or the best possible opponent. It's been 12 months since Wilder last fought, stopping his old sparring partner Robert Helenius in the first round in October 2022. Some options, says this author, for Wilder's next fight: Andy Ruiz, F.A. Jagba, Fran Sanchez, Jared Anderson, I'd love to see that, and Martin Bakole. I promise you guys I'll be back very soon. It's just sometimes the business of boxing has to run its course, and do what it does, said Wilder. I'll be back very soon, though. Let's move along to see what Francis Ngannou has to say. The headline screams, he's a man like me, and I can do it. Francis Ngannou confident he can beat Tyson Fury. Let's have a quick read here and see what it says on Bad Left Hook. Following a press conference for this weekend's Tyson fight, Francis Ngannou battle, African-born MMA star spoke to the media about his expectations for the fight, and here's what he had to say. The competition is tough, yes, but we are two men, and we're going to figure it out. I'm very ready. At this point, it's just recovery time. My last real training was on Saturday, and now we just keep training to keep the heart rate going and let the body recover for Saturday. He's a man like me, and I can do it. To beat him again, and what's the next step after beating Fury, he says? To beat him again, then beat somebody else. On having Mike Tyson in his camp, though, he says it'd be very helpful mentally, physically, technically. I mean, I do believe if 1/3 of Mike Tyson's technique, I'll be the best boxer of my generation. Wow, heavy duty. Speaking of generational fighters, Devin Haney says 147 next after he takes over at the 140-pound division. This is courtesy of Will Arons over at boxing247.com. Devin Haney says he'll quickly put on weight faster than he's anticipated since signing on for his fight against WBC light welterweight champ Regis Progress on December 9th. And he says he's going to be moving up to 147 soon after he conquers the 140-pound division. Given Haney's popularity, he could become the undisputed champion by the end of 2024 or early 2025. The other three champions at 140 are going to want to fight Haney, 30-0, by the way, 15 knockouts, because of the big paydays they'll receive. Unfortunately, by the time he does move up to 147, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. will have departed the division, and the only money fights available to him would be Jaron Boots Ennis, an aging Keith Thurman, and possibly Conor Benn, who I'd personally strike off that list. First things first, Haney needs to dethrone WBC 140-pound champ Regis Progress. He's 29-1, by the way, on December 9th. Okay, he's got to do that. That's taking place in San Francisco, as we all know, on DAZN pay-per-view. Although a lot of boxing fans believe the 35-year-old Progress isn't the fighter he once was after his performance against Danielito Zavila last June, that could be an off performance against a tricky fighter who fought to survive. I remember being the hunter, and now I'm the hunted. I love this position, said Haney. I win, and that's the most important thing. People said Floyd Mayweather couldn't punch, and he's arguably the best ever. Fighters want to face Haney now because they view him as vulnerable and someone who could take their career to the next level. He didn't look good in his last fight against Vasily Lomachenko last May, and he struggled against Jojo Diaz and Jorge Linares, who just retired, by the way. The only two fights in recent years that Haney looked good was against Australian George Kambosos Jr., who was a nobody until beating Teofimo Lopez in an upset. It's 5 pounds heavier, and I've been at 135 since I was 17 years old, said Haney. My body is definitely matured and a lot bigger, so these 5 pounds are going to mean a lot. I think my strength and punching power will go up because I'm not depleting myself so much. I'm excited to see how my weight cut goes and how I feel come fight night. Of course, it'd be hard not to. When asked if he ever wonders about a fight between him and Gervonta Davis would play out. It's important that Haney not be weight drained for this fight against Progress, because if he's weak, Progress will take advantage of the situation by knocking him out or battering him. The ultimate goal is to be great at the sport, said Haney, so I got to fight the best fighters in the world and make the fights that people want to see. There are so many big fights out there for me, but to get there, I've got to get past this guy I'm fighting next, and it's on. So the fighters that Haney would like to beat at 140 include Progress, Ryan Garcia, Subriel Matias, Teofimo Lopez, and Rolly Romero. Haney will stay at 140 if he can get a fight with Ryan Garcia, even if he's not one of the belt holders. The money that Devin would make from a fight with him, it would be huge. However, there's a chance that Ryan's career will be in the mud if he faces Teofimo or one or two of the other fighters first. And I'm not looking ahead, but I know what's on the horizon, said Haney. I just got to keep winning and beating the guys they put in front of me. My body is definitely maturing and maturing fast. 135 was hard for me to make, and once I let my body fill out, I've gained even more weight than anticipated. 147 is definitely in the near future, but we're right here, right now at 140. I want to take over this division, and then 147 is definitely next. And one quick note out of Japan, going back to my earlier comment about misspelling. This is courtesy of fightnews.com, who they themselves misspelt it. WBC, WBO world champion Naoya Monster Inoue and WBIBF King Marlon Tapales will collide in an undisputed junior featherweight showdown on Tuesday, December 26th at Ariake Arena in Tokyo. Inoue, already a 4-division world champ, seeks to become the second fighter to earn 4-belt undisputed status in a second division. Inoue-Tapales and undercard bouts will stream live and exclusively in the U.S. on ESPN Plus in a special early morning presentation, quite similar to this Friday's showdown over in Kenya, which will be broadcast on talkinfight.com at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Anyway, this article continues. The sensational Naoya Inoue astounds with every performance. We are witnessing an all-time great fighter in the prime of his career, said top-ranked chairman Bob Arum. He has a very difficult task at hand on December 26th against a tough, powerful Filipino champ in Marlon Tapales, but I'm confident the monster will pass this test with flying colors. Yes, indeed. Inoue, he's 25-0, by the way, 25-0, 22 knockouts. in world title fights since defeating Adrian Hernandez in 2014. He's moved up 2 divisions, knocked out then WBO junior bantamweight champ Omar Navarez, and defended the title on 7 occasions. Wow. At bantamweight, Inoue became the division's first undisputed champ in the 4-belt era, collecting each title as he defeated Emmanuel Rodriguez, Nonito Donaire twice, and Paul Butler over a 3-year span. After vanquishing WBC, WBO junior featherweight world champ Stephen Fulton via 8-round TKO in July, Inoue plans to become the first undisputed 4-belt champ at 122. Tapales, he's 37-3, 19 knockouts. He's a 40-fight veteran who debuted in July 2008. He spent the earlier part of his career fighting in native Philippines, suffering 2 early setbacks before a breakout performance against then unbeaten Japanese contender Shohei Omori, whom he defeated via second-round technical knockout in December 2015. Tapales then captured the WBO bantamweight world title with an 11th round TKO against Panya Otok. After beating Omori in their 2018 rematch, he moved up to junior featherweight. He's now 4-0 with 3 knockouts since losing to Ryosuke Aizawa in December 2019. Tapales returns following his biggest win to date, April's upset split decision against Murodjon Akhmadaliev to capture the WA and IBF titles. So there you have it, boxing fans. All the news fit to print today. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later on at 4 p.m. when I join Mike Orr on his show, Knuckle Up.